This episode of the TDLA podcast is brought to you by Whirlpet. Bathing your pet can be a real hassle. It's almost impossible to keep your critter still while you try and wash and rinse them in the tub. Now bathing your pet is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with Whirlpet. Whirlpet works just like a washer and dryer, but it's safe for pets. Just toss your pet inside, add soap, set the timer and temperature, and Whirlpet does the rest. Just ask this satisfied customer.
I used to hate cleaning my pet, but now with Whirlpet, I have fun every Tuesday night with my buddies.
Order within the next 10 minutes and we'll throw in a gallon of s'more-scented pet soap.
It smells just like a campfire.
Whirlpet, let us do your dirty work for you.
This time on the Two Dudes in LA podcast, the dudes bring acclaimed storyboard artist George Newman to talk about his work on South Park. Then when that gets boring, the dudes attempt to hook George up on a blind date. Then Watson writes yet another letter to the President of the United States before engaging in a rousing game of Don't You Dare Laugh with the most challenging challenge yet, an old couple giving relationship advice. And for the finale, listener email, where time travel is discussed, movie recommendations are made, and the dudes share accounts of strange encounters with homeless people. All this and possibly more today on the TDLA podcast.
And we're going to do this again. Here we go. How's everyone doing today? Huh?
Pretty good.
Woo!
Woo! We
around.
have our audience.
We have
We
our
have
audience.
another guest.
We have another guest.
Which we'll get to in just a minute.
Yes. Guys, this has become my favorite time of the week as we record this podcast because you guys, okay?
Aww.
Isn't that great? Isn't that so great that I said that out loud to you both?
That's so nice of you, Watson.
It's so nice of me. How are your guys' weeks this week?
Pretty good. Especially after that welcome, I feel so like wanted.
It'll start your week off good. That voice you're hearing is our good buddy George. How are you?
I'm doing good.
We'll get to you in a second. We'll dive in there in a second.
Right.
Let's do some let's just do some
Catching up?
Some catching up, yeah. So Shaun, what went on with your week, man?
Well, working like always, working my butt off.
Yes.
Good.
But this weekend I was able to go out and see one of my favorite local bands, the Heathen Apostles.
Yeah, man. So tell them what kind of band they are, because that's my favorite. Like, that's why I want to see them.
Well, let me start it with the way I discovered these guys is me and my animation friends, George and some of our other friends, every once in a while we go to like figure drawing workshops, and one of the models one time, she was dressed as a fawn. It was a really cool outfit, so I went and thanked her afterwards, and we just started talking, and she told me about her band. She gave me a card.
That's
And
cool.
Yeah.
Last night was the 4th time I've seen them now. They're incredible. Oh, and what really got me interested
The
is
fourth, you said?
the 4th time
There
I came
you
out
go.
last year. But she described her band as gothic bluegrass.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. So I checked them out, and they've got like legit music videos on YouTube. And if
Cool.
you check
Shout
them
out to them.
Shout out to Heathen Apostles, and they agreed to come on the podcast.
Ooh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look
So-
for that. That'll be awesome.
Have them in the next couple of months. But if you want to check them out, I highly recommend their song Death's Head.
Death's
That's
Head.
It's a good
Death's Head, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Are they on all the platforms like Spotify and like?
one. Spotify and I think
Nice.
iTunes and yeah, their YouTube videos are pretty good production quality.
Nice.
so.
Nice.
And the singer Mather, she's got a powerful voice, and she's got some really cool modeling photos as well on Instagram, like really high quality modeling. So
Wow.
they're great.
Well, cool. They're not sponsored. It sounds like we're like promoting them, but no, I mean,
I'll
it
give
sounds
them
like
a
they're-
free promo.
There you go. Yeah.
Share
Well,
the
that's
love.
cool.
Yeah.
Share the love. This episode's about love because
Yeah.
it's going to come out after Valentine's Day, so we've already felt the love, you
That's
know.
great, yeah.
So
But for our listeners, it's February 11th, so this is technically our Valentine's Day episode.
yeah, exactly for
nice.
us because we're there. Also, if you hear music, that's the people downstairs jamming,
Yeah.
probably smoking a bowl because that's they literally downstairs. I don't want to tell other people's lives, but they just have a huge bookcase that's just full of bongs. Yeah, more
That's
power
what
to
they're
them.
for. That's what
Right,
they're
that's
for,
what
yeah.
bookcases are for. You know what I'm saying? Bong case is what I call them.
But I do dig their music taste, though.
Yes,
They've been
at
playing
least
some
we
good
have
hits.
some good vibes.
Yeah, we made out some Drake down there.
Yeah, some Drake.
And
Some Childish Gambino a little bit earlier.
Oh,
Which I'm
nice.
like really good. Nice.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome. My week, thanks for asking, was about was really busy with work and stuff like that. However, I don't want to say who yet, just in case. But I did get to work this past weekend with one of my biggest idols of all time.
Oh, that's awesome.
They contacted people. He posted a Facebook. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He posted a Facebook post, and some friends who know me, who know him. He was looking for an editor / camera guy. Tagged me in the post. He got in touch with me, and yeah, I got to shoot his latest video. I don't want to say
Oh,
what
that's awesome.
yet. We'll wait till it's released so I can feel like I'm special like you two. But yeah, but I'm pretty excited about that. I feel like there was something else that happened in my week that I bought a shelf. I finally
nice.
got shelves over here.
Nice.
They're pretty awesome.
Yeah. Do they hold things well?
They hold things, bongs. No, I'm saying. But
Well, audience, let's give it up for Watson making moves and buying shelves.
thank you, everybody. And
studio audience is
I know
good.
you were you probably were caught off guard a little bit with our studio audience, but every episode is a live episode.
Wow.
Just so you know.
No, I realized.
And so-
I walked into this room and saw a crowd of people.
Yeah,
And
just
you're
in my
how do
apartment.
they fit them all?
Yeah.
I know. It's
We
just-
don't even know.
We don't even know, but they're here, and we're glad you are here. So
It's a really tightly packed room, though, so if anybody...
okay.
Oh, see, now
Someone
everybody...
farted. Someone farts. Who's doing that? Okay, it was everybody. It sounds like. Okay. Well, fun. Yeah, I feel like there was something else. It's just so randomly during the podcast, I'm like, I remember. Just let me.
You know,
speak.
every time that we have a moment like that, it reminds me of me and my buddy when we were in junior high. He was trying to remember an actress, and we were having a sleepover, so I was sleeping on his top bunk, he's sleeping on the bottom.
Ooh, yeah.
And we're just about to fall asleep, and he sits up and goes, Natalie Portman!
Oh my gosh.
And so that's our joke now. Every time he's trying to remember something, I'm always like, Natalie Portman!
That's fun. That's really fun.
But I'm excited to get into our guest, and that's our sound clip for excitement.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And for our guest, that's a sound clip we played last week of a gentleman eating a chicken parmesan sandwich, and it was very good, apparently.
Yes.
I'm sure
And
it was.
You're going to be in on that on our Don't You Dare Laugh challenge. I'm really excited.
All right.
But before we get too far, I just want to say real quick, shout out to Patrick Coffin. Thank you so much for making our segment video, or our segment jingles, our intro, for doing our intro. So guys, go check out Patrick Coffin. You can check him out on YouTube. Just type in Patrick Coffin. You'll see him. So thank you, my friend. You're awesome. Yes. Audience.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
But yes, let's get into our guest. You know him best, Shaun, so why don't you introduce him?
Yeah, this is my buddy George Newman, and we have
Nice.
kind of an animation group. Like I said, we get together, we go to drawing workshops, we go to animation meetups and mixers, and then we get together and we watch obscure animated films together.
Awesome.
And it's a great group. It's been one of my favorite things about being in LA. I mean, it's nice to have that foundation. So,
Yeah.
and I really haven't had friends with this kind of similar interests. Like in Utah, I was the only one who drew and was into animation, but out here it's these are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they've been kind enough to let me hang out with him a few times. They are a great bunch of people.
you're
so
awesome.
I'll stop it. It's Shaun.
We went and did karaoke recently.
No,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
So,
That was way fun. Maybe we can dive into that a little bit too. But yeah, for the viewers, the listeners, viewers and listeners, tell us a little bit about where you're from and kind of your upbringing, I guess is the question. Yeah.
Well, I'm George. Also, I want to say your intro is awesome. So thank you, Patrick.
Yes, thank you, Patrick.
I was born in Jamaica.
Cool.
Many years ago. Yeah.
Awesome, that's
And
great.
then I moved to the U.S. when I was 16, and I told my parents, like every young Jamaican boy does, that he wants to work in animation.
Oh,
Yeah. and they were like, okay. And then from that, I took art classes at a local art college in Florida. And then once I finished up there, I did a bit of work as a 3D modeler for a shipping company.
Okay.
And then I moved to California like last year, like a year and a half ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Nice. So
Like
we've been
summer 2016.
Summer 2016, I think so.
Nice. That's
Watson
when I came out.
Yeah, yeah. I think
June was for me.
Yeah,
So
because I do remember one of the first times we met was like on a beach. Right?
that's right. That's right.
In
Yeah,
summer.
on a beach, just
Yeah.
randomly. That's fun. And yes, I talked about your pants. You had great pants, and you still have no
Yeah,
idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But he
I think
did.
I figured it
Okay,
out.
believe
I
me.
think I figured out which pants you were talking
Okay.
about.
They were
George
kind of
just
like
has
baggy.
great sense of style.
He does.
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Thanks.
He does. You should open up your own clothing line.
One day, like once I marry Kardashian, that's what's gonna happen.
That's all. Yeah, that's all any person who moves out to California's dreams are. It's just to marry a
But
Kardashian.
I think that's how you get gilded over, isn't it? Like,
That's
how
it.
you
That's
prove
the
your
only
worth.
thing. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
If you want to be that next tier, you
Yeah.
gotta marry. That's why Kanye did it.
That's why he did it. Like I was like, once he did it, I was like, I have no choice.
No excuse.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Is
So,
it- yeah.
growing up with you want to become an animator. Like, what were some films or TV or whatever that made you want to take that step?
I would say, I guess it's kind of a typical answer, but like Studio Ghibli films probably. But I
Okay.
loved movies in general. Like growing up, I was a TV nerd.
Awesome.
My parents were there, but also not there.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of TV. They're gonna kill me for saying that, but I did watch a lot of TV growing up, and so movies are just a big part of my life.
Cool.
And it wasn't until I was like probably a teenager, because I was always drawing, but like when I became a teenager, it's when I realized people made animated movies.
Oh yeah.
Because like I bought, I loved Spirited Away. Saw that and I was like, this is amazing. And like any nerd, I like bought the DVD.
Nice.
And then after watching the movie like 4 or 5 times, I was like, they gave me an extra disc that's useless. It's like special features or something. and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'll play it. So I put it in, and it starts off, and they're like, oh, people make these, and like you're watching people draw the backgrounds and like animate the characters, and it kind of like just clicked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, like maybe I can do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Had you like already been drawing at that point?
Yeah. I mean, I was drawing a lot as a kid, just like the usual stuff kids draw, like bad fan art and like so tons of like over muscular Goku looking people.
There you go. Yeah.
I used to draw my Pokemon cards.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, you grew up that way, and like you hopefully have a good imagination, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll do this.
That's awesome. So then, like, what made you? Because we all kind of sorry, that was a weird thing. I like heard a noise and I was like, what the heck? We all kind of we have those influences, but then it really comes to reality once we finally make that step to move out here. I feel like that's what kind of separates a lot of. Actually, well, it's kind of funny. There's actually is a lot of people that move from LA or somewhere to LA and then they feel like, oh, that's it, and then they just chill for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
But more common than not, when someone's really serious about trying to make it, they come here. So when was that moment? When was that moment of like, yes, I'm going to come to LA to pursue my dream?
I think like once I started like college, and I was like, I knew this was what I wanted to do. I was like, there's no way I'm going to stay in Florida. So I was always like working towards that goal. But I think the actual moment was when I was working as a modeler for a while, and I thought that was like it was a cool job. Everyone there was super nice. But it was like realizing I really didn't think that was what I wanted to be doing forever. And it was like a really tough choice of, all right, well, you have a job here versus like moving to California and saying like, hey, is this going to work out?
Yeah.
I just like, you take the gamble. I think you have to just kind of decide one day. Normally after like drinking a lot and staring in a mirror.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made the choice, and I talked it over with like people who I was friends with, and like having a good support system is good too.
Totally.
People who believe in you, I guess that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a friend and roommate out there, and you guys are roommates here now together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you and Paul been friends now?
We've been friends about 5 or 6 years, or it could be more than that actually. But yeah,
That's
about
great
that
to
time.
have.
Yeah.
Your Paul is like my Watson. Almost.
Yeah.
So,
That's fun.
So you moved to LA summer 2016.
Yeah.
And what were some of your first jobs that you had?
Well, when I first moved here, I just kind of like spent a bit of time just going to like the events, like live drawing, doing all that stuff. Like because I'd saved a lot of money. So I was just like, the first thing I was going to do is just integrate myself into the community a bit.
Okay.
So it was really just going to events, talking to people, and doing a lot of like life drawing, doing a lot of like just any drawing activity. It was just like draw, see what other people are making. There's a really awesome comic book shop called the Perky Nerd and it's in like Burbank.
Cool.
And they had gallery showings every month or so, where they would like ask for submissions. So I would submit those with like friends, and we'd all do a small gallery there, and that was pretty fun. Yeah, and I bumped into a couple people there, and from there, like I just kind of kept on doing stuff like that until I landed my show, which was like I worked on South Park last season, and that was
awesome.
Yeah.
Hit it up for South Park. Just a little indie, cartoon that's just making its debut.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Maybe you've heard of it.
I've heard some people watch it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was
cool.
that was your first industry gig was on
Yeah,
that show.
yeah.
That's
Which is
incredible.
I feel extremely lucky. It was honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had. I learned so much working there, and everyone there was like a peach. Like honestly, yeah,
That's cool. So, but you worked really. I mean, you were in that time of you being here, and then until you got to South Park, it sounds like you were putting your work in. You were submitting stuff. You were like, that's really sweet.
Well, it was like doing a lot of applications, also just like working on the stuff that I thought I needed to get better at, like being self-aware. I think that's something that people don't really talk about as much, which is when you're learning or you're like trying to get a job or you're trying to do anything, like try to figure out what people aren't seeing in your stuff. You know what I mean? Like what are the problems that might be stopping you from getting hired, and then trying to problem solve it and just kind of keep.
Can I ask specifically, like, what was one thing for you that you were like, oh, this is what I could do better, and then what did you do to go about to fix it?
I think some of the I'm trying to think specifically. I think some of it was just like acting. Like acting's super important, especially when you're doing like character design or just anything to do with animation, to be honest.
Just really getting the expression and stuff across.
Exactly. And I think that life drawing definitely helps that. Like, because you get more used to the body, moving it and pushing it, and doing it in a believable way where it doesn't feel like, the guy's a mutant,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've definitely seen animation where, like, you can tell where it's like you feel like these characters are alive, and then there's some that you're just like, ooh, like, I don't really know.
Like, I mean, there's guys who are, like, masters of this. Like, I think, like, when I was in art school, like, I fell in love with Glenn Keane for, like, a while and never went to that.
Keane.
Yeah, his work's awesome. But, like, you look at the way he animates, like, the Beast or, like, Ariel, and, like, the characters feel like they're breathing. And I think and he's such, like, a great draftsman. Like, he draws so well that, like, the way it turns feels perfect.
Yeah.
And there was something in me that was like, oh, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
And, like, the more you go to life drawing, you kind of see how those puzzle pieces get put together.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just about stuff like that. And also, like, I guess being in love with someone's work. Like, looking up to certain people and
there
kind
you
of
go.
wanting to emulate them. Yeah.
Just real quick, I want to throw back our last episode. I talked about the Annies, and so Glenn Keane was the gentleman who presented awards with Kobe Bryant because they did an animated short together. So.
Yeah,
so you got to see
your
him.
basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe Bryant. You got to see. That's cool.
Well, it was weird because for me, it was like I love Glenn, so like I took a picture of him, but like Kobe was there, so I sent it to my mom, and I was like, "Hey, mom, look, it's Kobe," and then she was like, "Oh, who?"
Not a big sports person.
No. I told her to show my dad, and he explained why it was a big deal. Yeah.
Kind of reminded me, like, I watched this documentary. I don't even know what it's called, but it's just basically about how they made Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, nice.
Do you know who like did that?
It was Rock something.
I don't mean to like put you guys on the spot, but
okay.
I can IMDb it. But the work and
Richard Williams.
They put is that who it was?
Well, I think it was directed by Robert Zemeckis, but
Right.
Richard Williams did all the animations.
Yeah. Because like they just talked about how like they really had to push like even super more, just because when you put someone who is alive and breathing next to someone who isn't,
It just doesn't work.
yeah, and like they just did so much. Like I know you're really big on like shadowing like characters, like Shaun. I don't know if you got to see it, but Shaun did this really cool thing where like he put animated. I mean, I'm going to bring this up a million times just because I love what he did with it. But like he like there's a tree branch that's casting a shadow. Well, Shaun like literally goes in and like makes it look like the shadow is actually casting
On the bird.
on that, and like they were doing that on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's so crazy. There's a part where the detective, I forget his name, but he grabs Roger, throws him, and he accidentally hits a light, and the light swings back and forth.
Yeah.
But they literally animated it, so it's like, which I know, like, as a normal viewer, we kind of take that for granted.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard. Like,
But
I
that
would imagine.
means
thought,
that they're doing their job. If you
Yeah.
don't even notice,
Yeah.
but it's masterful and a huge attention to detail to pull it off. I mean,
That's
Well, it's like
crazy.
being like a magician, right? You're hoping that no one knows that you're tricking them.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
this thing exists. Believe me. No, that movie's great.
I love it. Yeah, I need to get it on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So, do you know what it was that got you on like South Park's radar that they reached out?
Well, I sent in an application, and I also got messaged like an email saying that they'd be interested in interviewing me, and then I went and met the art director and met the HR person.
Cool.
And they were super nice.
And this was at South Park Studios, or?
Yeah. You
That's
interview
cool.
at the studio.
That's
and, like,
cool.
Which is really cool. It said like it's actually really inconspicuous, which I guess I shouldn't say where it is. Like,
No.
You can say
want.
that. I mean,
yeah. So go down to my house.
Well, I've
Right
seen
next
pictures
door.
of it. Like, they just have tiny little... Don't they have, like... Well, never mind. I'm just going to get to it. But I know what you're talking about. That's inconspicuous.
No, it's I think but it's, because some of the studios, like, I was surprised when I moved here, like, how some of them are huge. Like, you walk past Disney, which is great, and, like, it's, like, a huge hat, and, like,
Oh, yeah.
the seven dwarves are holding the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the interview process was they saw the work, they liked it, and...
Was it your Instagram that they checked out?
It was my Tumblr, I think. And then
Okay.
also
Oh,
they saw
really?
some of my... Yeah, which I should update it more now, but it was a Tumblr, and then I sent them a different portfolio, which had like some work that I didn't release yet on the,
Okay.
And from that, like, we did the interview, and then after the interview, you sign up for like the hiring week, and that's kind of nuts because like, they pretty much try you out and see if they like you.
Yes, can you talk
Yeah.
a little about their hiring process? Because I've never heard of it before. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll speak about it generally because what they'll do is they'll bring like a couple people in and they'll test you guys all out.
Yeah.
And see how they like put you in a high pressure situation. So it's really
Sure.
tough. It's
You
like
basically have to compete with other people to keep that position. So he knocked out like 2 people.
well, I don't
Nice.
like looking at that way. It's like,
Right.
yeah.
You're nice. I get to what you're saying.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. It's cool. Like you're there with people, and everyone kind of tries, and like at the end of the week, they kind of, I guess, I don't know how they do their evaluations. I'm guessing it's based on what they're looking for, and then they decide, okay, you have a shot. You can work on the show, and even at that point, they're like, it's the beginning of the run. You know, it's like you just did all that, and then you're like, now I have to actually make the show.
Yeah.
Or let's work on it with everyone. But I will say, even though it's like really tense, everyone is super giving with their information, and they try to make everything readily available. It's like, hey, what do you think you need, and like,
That's awesome.
how do you work? And but they're really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be pretty intense because isn't it? Don't you guys have the episodes like that week, or it's only like a week turnaround?
It's a week turnaround for most episodes.
Wow.
We didn't see George for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
After you
dude.
got
I didn't
home.
exist
man.
for a while. I didn't have any. It was really sad when it got to the point where like family members were like, "Are you alive?" But it's nuts because you pretty much live in their world. Like you're in the studio all the time. They do a great job of keeping you there because like they feed you and stuff like that. But it's really nuts. But it's also like the most exhilarating thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because like you spend like all your time there and you're working on it, and everyone's in the trenches together, and then at the end of the week you get to watch an episode and be like, oh crap, like you get it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
So it's like I've been talking about it recently, and I was saying like it's kind of like being there for making like just like watching someone make 10 short films, and like just doing it in the span of like 6 months, like you're just like churning them out. But it's nuts. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's cool. So what was something that like, what was the number one thing you learned? I know this is hard. This is probably a pretty hard question, but
Yeah.
what is like the thing that you were like, oh, I learned, or maybe there could be a few things, but like, what did you learn working there that like, you're like, I'm going to use this throughout my whole career?
I think a part of it's just doing it, just like make the thing.
Yeah.
Like in a turnaround like that, you don't really have much time to second guess.
Sure.
Like you have to know what your quality standards are, which is like I think a lot of people might look at South Park optically and think, oh, like it's like, you know, they think of the paper cutout style and they think it's probably pretty simple, but the art direction there is really intense, and it's there for like good reason. Like they've had a show
Gotcha.
for like almost 20 years now, or pretty much 20 years now.
Oh, yeah.
They know exactly what the show looks like when it doesn't look like, and they
It just gets more and more detailed. Too.
it does. Yeah. The background, some of the backgrounds I even got the chance to work on were like really like nuts. Like, you know, you end up, and it's really collaborative. So you realize like understand what you can do and can't do. Know when to like to kind of seek out advice from other people. But then I think the best thing was like just do it. Just make the thing that you're trying to make.
Yeah.
Because like no matter what, you have to put it out there. I think a lot of times like creatives, we get in development hell kind of.
Yeah.
Like we kind of say, oh, it's not good enough. I don't really like how it's turning
Oh,
out.
totally.
But you get to watch that show, and these guys are just making it. And like
Yeah.
if they don't do it well that time, there's another episode. You know,
Yeah.
you have the
Yeah.
next chance to make it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
What was your like official title with them?
It was I think it was in the storyboard department, but I think
like wherever they needed you, basically.
Well, it's the storyboard department kind of is in charge of design.
Okay.
And so they do storyboards and they do, which I guess people don't know, but like it's like they do storyboards and they do character design and they do the background design and props, and it's like it's nuts. It's like really like being a jack of all trades. Like everyone in the room is extremely talented and like is able to just kind of build all this really cool stuff. And you never know what assignment's going to be, because like working for people like Matt and Trey, like you never know what's going to be in a script when a week comes up, and then suddenly it's like, all right, now do all this research. Like I think like last I'm trying to think, like last season there was like the water mirrors, like they were doing like tardigrades for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember like it was like, what's a tardigrade? You know, like who knows what that is off the back of their head.
Yeah.
And then you have to like look it up and figure all that stuff out. And then we went to like North Korea for a bit, and I had to like build like one of the backgrounds for that. That was insane, because I was like, okay, what does North Korean architecture look like? What are they inspired by?
Yeah.
So that was fun. Like it's like a lot of stuff like that, where like every week's a new challenge that you'd never think of in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like
That's so cool.
it's definitely not Dragon Ball Z people.
Yeah,
What's
totally.
what are, I guess, can you remember or talk about some of the other like props or things that you worked on personally?
I built some of the fidget spinners for the episode where is it Twitch? Yeah,
That's
Tweak.
pretty early on, like episode 1
Tweak.
or 2.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's one of the early ones. Sorry, Tweak's like playing with one, and he like I think I built the one that he had. It was like really fun. I did some of the backgrounds for the North Korea episode. I don't know if they know them by name. I'm remembering file names right now. I'm about to be like subsection D. Like, do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And then it was also like some random props. Like I think a couple photos. Like the photo when Garrison's looking back on like the Jack and Crack night, and it's like all the guys are drunk and high off their minds. Like, I built that. That was pretty cool.
Cool.
That's
I built
awesome.
the Jack Downs too. So
That's
just like
fun.
random things. There's a bunch of stuff sprinkled throughout.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Were you and now totally don't worry, because I know South Park's but like, were you a fan of South Park before this happened?
Yeah, like on and off, I would say. Like, I think when I got the chance to work there again, it made me revisit it.
Oh,
But when I was a
totally.
kid, I remember watching like, because back when I was a kid, they had them all online. It was
Yeah,
before
oh,
the
yeah.
Hulu deal happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I saw, I remember watching like all the seasons back to back as a kid, just one
Oh,
summer,
yeah.
and like getting really engrossed in it.
Yeah.
And it was like too much, because then you start walking around like, fuck you, mom. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't, I'm sure they're on YouTube, but I got in my college years, I got really into South Park because, you know, I was out of my family's home.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'm on my
yeah.
own. I'm gonna watch South Park. My mom told me I never could. But I went to Walmart, and actually how I got into them was because they had a movie called Cannibal the Musical.
Oh,
It's one of their
cool.
first movies they ever made. It was
Yeah, yeah.
before South Park.
Before
And,
Orgasmo.
Yeah, before Orgasmo, and
Yeah.
it was it's so ridiculous. But I actually saw that first because a bunch of my friends were putting on the play, the actual musical, like live on stage. But anyways, if you guys, I'm sure it's on YouTube, but the first couple seasons literally has Trey Parker and Matt Stone like in sweaters with a dog, and like a fire is going, and they're like, and they're like, this episode is my favorite episode. And it's like episode 1, then the next episode comes up, they have a different dog with them. They're wearing the same shirt, and like, now this episode is our favorite episode, and it like goes throughout the whole. Then eventually they
that's
stopped,
awesome.
obviously,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they were going forever. But it's so funny. I hope more people. Yeah, the thing that I worry about is it going online is people won't get to see that. But maybe
Yeah.
they posted it on YouTube or something. But
They might have. I don't know.
it's
Maybe.
hilarious.
It's honestly, I think stuff like that's so cool, and it's like
Yeah.
really interesting to see people make like brave comedy decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are like, I think they are like the big force behind that. I mean, when South Park came
yeah.
out, holy crap! I remember everyone talking about it,
No,
freaking
definitely.
out about
Yeah.
it.
And I think
So-
people think it's just a reference, but it's like not. It's like pretty clever. Like you're
Yeah.
watching it, and you're like the jokes are like killing you.
Yeah, oh
Because
yeah,
I would say even as someone like who was behind the scenes for a while, like when I would get like a script and you're reading it, you're dying. You're like at your desk and you're like, this is
I
so
bet.
funny. Yeah.
yeah. My favorite recent episode, I don't know if you worked on this one, but it was when Cartman's girlfriend was basically getting bullied into leaving Cartman, but because they were bullying her, it made her want to stay with
She
Cartman
doubled down.
more.
Yeah.
And what was so crazy about that is after I watched it and I laughed and it was so funny, someone released an article saying, here's the reason. This is South Park basically just exposed the reason why people voted for Trump.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
or kept voting for Trump, and I was like, whoa, like that is so crazy, and like it makes a lot of sense why they went that route, and like they're smart, man.
I think they are, and I think it's like a lot of like understanding how people work. I think like sometimes you watch like modern comedies or like some screwball stuff, and like it seems like people are just trying to be funny, but like, I think there's something about being honest, because I think that's what you're talking about. Like I did work on that episode, and it's funny because like you read it and you're like, oh man, like I remember when we were reading it, people were like, I feel bad for her, like she's in this horrible relationship, and like
she basically becomes
yeah exactly. And like it's funny how that happens in real life, and I think when we can see ourselves in like the art, it kind of it elevates it.
Yes,
It
and
makes it
South
more
Park
honest,
is art,
yeah.
people.
It is.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. So
I'm not just saying that because
I'm gonna ask the question that I'm sure everyone is gonna want to know. Did you ever meet Trey Parker, Matt Stone, see them or anything?
Yeah, I'm briefly. Like
Oh,
I've met
cool.
them. I've seen them because of course they're there all the time.
Sure,
so you
sure.
see them, like But I met them briefly. Very nice people.
That's cool.
I doubt they'd remember meeting me.
Yeah.
Because they meet so many people and they so much stuff's happening. But no, they're super nice guys. Honestly, the studio is like a small family, so everyone knows each
That's
other.
awesome.
Like most of the people who are there, who've been there for a while, and they really understand each other. So like you'll see the same people kind of walking around a lot, and
But you said your boss, the art director, has been there since the beginning.
yeah, he's been there since
No
Like when they were
Since
still
pretty
working with
much.
paper, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, he was there from like pretty early. I think pretty much the beginning. Yeah,
Jeez.
and it's nuts because like, and he knows like they all know each other very well. And it's a family. It's honestly like, and I'm really lucky to have been a part of that family because honestly they're so supportive. They're so nice. They can also be mean, but only when they need to be. So
it's like a tough love. Like
yeah. I don't want to make it sound like it's just sunshine and rainbows. Like
Right.
they do have like it's a crunch time when it's crunch time. It's crunch time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
it's
That's really
a
cool.
well-oiled machine, and they know how to run it. So
Yeah, which is nuts. I mean, I don't think there's I mean, you talk about great teams in like in animation history. You talk about like studios at different times when they were like producing the best stuff creatively. And I think something that they've been able to do is keep the same core people together, which has probably helped keep their studio afloat. You know what I mean?
Quality.
Just like, yeah, they all understand each other. People know what they're trying to like. They know what they're asking for, and they know how to provide it.
Okay.
Because I don't know any other studio that could probably produce something like that quickly.
Oh yeah.
well,
Man.
the only other example I can think of is It's Always Sunny, because
Yeah.
the producers are the writers and the actors, and so the show has stayed very true to itself for over 10 seasons. But not a lot of shows can say that.
Right.
that
Yeah,
same thing,
no, there's
so.
definitely a moment where I mean, we've all seen it. You watch like a show for a while, it gets lost.
Oh yeah.
It kind of like you're like, what is this now?
Yeah. I felt like that was with How I Met Your Mother. I'm sure I might be the only one who's watched that, but
No, I've seen all of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I felt like that's what happened with that, especially in like the last couple seasons. It was just like they just forgot about why we loved it in the first place.
Well, I mean, it's funny because in the beginning it was like a really sincere romantic comedy almost.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a TV show, and you're like, oh man, like you felt like you're Ted Mosby a little.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but like midway through like season 7, it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, yeah,
Ted's been
man.
divorced like 7 times.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, I could devote an entire podcast just dissecting the last season and so how angry I am.
I'd be down for that. I was one of the only people I knew who was like binging How Much Your Mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Too much TV. Saw so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like my favorite seasons of like Family Guy are the first probably 5 when Seth MacFarlane still kind of had something to prove.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it just got to a point where it's like, I'm Seth MacFarlane, and it was just very formulaic.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
like he also like handed off the show because he was doing a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the show pretty much, I guess it runs itself at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure he has like input on it, but it definitely isn't like still as much of like, you know, just his baby as it used to be.
Yeah, and I know Simpsons, but like I almost try and give like Simpsons a little bit of like a,
Like
you
a
know, a crutch. I don't know, or whatever I'm trying to say, just because they've been on for so long. But I've heard they've actually started like with Trump. It's kind of like reinvigorated a lot of it, which
Like
is interesting.
all comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
a lot
I
of
don't know.
comedy, which
Yep.
is so funny.
Yeah.
Now, do you know why the show chooses to do it week by week and not kind of plan a little bit more ahead? Is it just because they can?
I think it's also because like I think week by week is to make sure it's relevant. Like whatever they're talking about, it's
that's
just
true.
happening. It's kind of like you're hitting the nerve on the head versus like sitting with it for like 6 months and then thinking, does anyone even remember what happened?
You don't have time, like you said, you don't have time to second guess yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's
Okay.
also like those guys like they have a lot of stuff that they like to do. Because I mean, I guess we're all familiar with they've done like the Book of Mormon stuff and and other projects that they're interested in, and the game just came out. Yeah. So it's not like they're not busy. They're
I'm a huge fan of the game.
Well, their second game, and then the mobile one as well.
Yeah,
Phone Destroyer. They're pretty involved. So I get it. They don't want it to be their entire life, most of the year. So.
Yeah, I mean,
they definitely... still, at least, I mean, probably better, but they still seem pretty devoted.
No, they do. They love it. Like, I mean, I think it's the energy that you see from people who've been doing it for 20 years. You're like, how do you still, love it this much? Yeah. Like, one thing I'll say is, even just working in the art department, like, everyone's so funny. Like I remember walking in their days and like people are thinking about the jokes and like it's just a comedy house, like so everyone's thinking about like how do we make this funnier, like how do we plus this joke and how do we try to make our thing help what the script is doing. And
do they have any philosophies with like their approach to the humor? Is it just like the more ridiculous the better or something? Or?
I think it's like nailing the joke. I think what's the joke in the situation? Like if it's absurd, then how do you make it even more so? Like if it's a subtle joke, like how do you make it really subtle?
Yeah.
Like because sometimes like you'll have something translate where, like in an episode or something, like a board will happen where like the idea is like Cartman's arguing with Heidi or something.
Yeah.
And the expression he's supposed to give is like this really subdued, like I just gave up.
Uh-huh.
And you'll have like Tracy like really nail that. So like for us it's like, all right, we really want to make sure that feels subtle.
Yeah.
But then if it's like, all right, put a penis on a mouse, you got to make sure it's like a big penis, or if Trump has a strap on, you want to make sure the strap on's like pretty cool. So
no, they really do. Like with such simple models, they really do hit those expressions. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a great I mean, everyone's so talented. Like everyone I had the chance to work with, I think was just amazing, and honestly learned so much from each of them in their own way, and like were giving to me. If that's something I'll say about the animation industry in general too. I don't know. I haven't had much experience with assholes. But like in my experience, everyone's been very giving, and they want you to learn. Like no one's trying to obscure you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So with that, I guess like my final question. I mean, and you, Shaun, might have more, but like, what would I always like to ask this question because I know that I used to be the person on the other side of this. Listening in, like if I heard, like listening in, trying to find details about like how to get into the industry, but like say someone who's listening wants to get into animation, like what you've done.
Yeah.
Like what are some things that you would tell someone who asked you like, hey, how do I get into this? Like, what should I start doing? Something like that.
I think it's just really developing your skills.
Okay.
Because I think when the right eyes come along and see your work, they'll know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you have that in there, then they'll know they can trust you or hopefully give you a shot. I don't think, as far as advice, I think, because I know what you mean. Because like I was like when I first moved here, I was like, how do you figure it out? Like, what's the secret?
Yeah.
And I really don't think anyone can tell anyone a secret because it really is like everyone has a different story. I've talked to so many people who've had different experiences, and I think it's really just trying to prepare yourself by doing the best work you can. And then if the right eyes see it, you'll hopefully get a chance.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you had like a Tumblr? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. It was like Tumblr and then Instagram and all this stuff.
Instagram. So update that if you want to do animation or modeling or whatever. Just keep doing that, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, and also just like maybe have a portfolio ready. Like if you have the chance to apply for something, like if a job posting comes up, so you're not like trying to make, instead of like having the job posting pop up and then you're like making something for that. You just have it ready so you can send it off.
Nice.
Like if you're the first one in, they get to look at your work first.
Right, so, exactly. And I want to hit on that too, is like being an editor applying for jobs. I've noticed that is a huge key thing. Like when you see a job posted, you got to just get in as quick as possible. I've had a higher success rate of applying as quick and as like trying to be one of the first as possible. Like, because there's some jobs that you apply. I'm sure South Park, like I bet they got flooded with like stuff. And so being the first one really is important, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just like anything you can to try to give yourself an edge. I'd say do it, and also that involves like talking to people.
Yeah.
Because I mean, animation people are very nice. There's tons of events around the city all the time.
Yeah.
Where these people show up. Like you'll have art directors show up, you'll have artists show up, and normally, like I'm not saying they're going to give you a job. I'll just say that they're very nice people. And like most of the time, if you talk to them, they'll look at your work, they'll give you advice.
Yeah.
And if they think you're right for something, they might push you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's just knock on every door you can without being annoying. Don't pester people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Any other thing with you?
I did have something.
Yes, it is cocaine.
I guess like because you guys have a week, has there like been some like an episode where like on day 6, you think you know what the episode's going to be, and then when it releases, you're like, that's not really near what I thought it was going to be.
I think it definitely changes. I think people think I think they might think it like you decide everything in the beginning, but it's such an evolving beast, and I think that's kind of the cool part too. Is like up to the night before, you're kind of still like making sure everything's all right. You're checking your P's and your Q's, and does this joke really work? Do we have to change it? I mean, of course, like the execs make those decisions, and they kind of look it over and they say, all right, what do we think we can do? How can we make this better? And no, it's constantly changing. There's honestly been episodes where I've gone to bed like seeing it one way, and then the next day it's completely different, and it's like nuts. Yeah,
that's so cool. Well, awesome. Did we want to do show him the thing?
Well, yeah, we got some things, but we just want to thank George for that awesome interview.
Aw, you guys are too nice.
Yeah,
that interview was
magic.
Awesome.
So,
real quick, you said you were born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So last show, I think
episode 2.
No, episode 2. You're right. So episode 2, we found the spot-on impression of like a Jamaican impression.
Yeah. I like how you're saying it's spot on. Like,
it is spot on.
I can tell.
It is spot on. Like when I heard it, I was like, but you see, I'm not from there. I'm from Utah.
Yeah.
So we want to have you.
Hopefully you haven't seen this clip.
Okay.
We want to have you listen and just let's hear if you can.
You can peek at it, but it's going to be upside down.
Okay.
Yeah, we have this video.
Let us know what you think of this impression.
Oh. What are you... Oh, Barley.
That's it.
Rihanna's just come back from the island. Jamaica! Yes. That was really good.
Oh, her friend thought it was good.
Yeah. You can tell it's really good because she said Jamaica.
Right.
She had to remind you what she was doing.
Does that ever make you mad?
The Jamaican accents? No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think when I used to listen to like Sebastian the Crab, I was like, not quite.
Okay.
But it's close enough.
Now, have you ever seen Cool Runnings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like normally like the third question is like Cool Runnings, right? But it's funny because like I always joke about it. I'm like, we're the only team to come in third place and get a movie.
Yeah. Or like Friday Night Lights, they lose. Or I guess that's second place.
I haven't seen it.
But third place.
Yeah. Oh, the first Rocky, right? He loses, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
And I just watched I, Tonya last night. And
Do you watch I, Tonya?
Yeah,
Give me a high five.
Last night.
I love I, Tonya.
But, you know what I mean? She did some amazing things, but she didn't always come in first either. So.
True.
Yeah.
Check me.
Did you see that yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I heard it's really good.
It's so good.
There's also Eddie the Eagle. It's like
I need to see Eddie the Eagle. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Now it's time to get to some of our segments.
Yeah.
The first segment is actually one we're going to change up. Like we said, this is our Valentine's Day segment. And George, we've got a surprise for you.
Well, let me ask you, George.
Yeah.
Do you have a date for Valentine's Day?
No, not this year.
Right. Yeah. We knew that. So what we did was we created a fake Tinder account for you.
Oh, nice.
Put a bunch of fake information, said you make billions of dollars on
that sounds illegal.
Yeah, but you know, we're friends, so you let us
we got some catches.
Yes, we did. We got some
nice.
catches.
Some bites.
So, Shaun, what are we going to do?
Well, I think they're standing outside.
Oh,
yep.
They're outside.
They're waiting to come in.
Now, this might be a private affair. So basically, what we were thinking, we're going to bring the two in here. Yeah. You get to ask them some questions. Yeah. And just, get to know them and then pick which one you want to take on.
If you're interested.
Pressure. No pressure. I mean, they've come all the way from, one came all the way from Northern California. So, no pressure.
I feel like the prized mirror in a country festival.
You should, because these two are fine. Okay? I'm not even just saying.
Fine.
Yeah, so we're just going to get them. Hold on.
All right, ladies.
Hey.
Ladies.
Come on in.
Yep. Come on in. All right, see you, George.
Later.
Hi.
So what's your name?
Yeah, you go first.
Hey, my name's Raquel.
Oh, Raquel, that's a nice name. What about yours?
I'm Tanya.
I like your voice, Tanya.
Thank you. I'm from Boston.
I could tell.
And I'm from Northern Cali.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you didn't travel too far then.
Yeah, I traveled much farther than I don't know what the other guy was talking about. So you looking good today. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh,
you got your palm tree shirt on and a pin of a bear.
Yeah.
That's a cute hat. Is that a palm tree on the hat?
Okay, I already mentioned the palm trees. Okay. You little hussy.
Did you notice the pin? He's got a cute pin.
I said that. What was your name again?
Raquel.
Oh, Raquel? What's my name again? Tanya. That's right. Okay.
It's Tanya or Kelly. You can't forget your names.
Yeah, right. You can't forget those.
Yeah.
So, George, I heard you have some questions for us. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to answer them
What
for
do you got for us?
So my first question is,
Yeah.
do you like long walks on the beach?
Do I like... Which one do you want us to ask for... Or to answer first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I actually was raised probably like 5 minutes from the beach, and it just takes me back to my
Hashtag
childhood. You know, like my dad used to hold my hand, and we'd walk down the beach,
I
and
would like to say it's pretty weird to bring up your dad when you're talking about a date.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's what I was thinking.
I love my dad. Shout out to Daddy.
Glue.
He got me my first car when I was 16, and I think I'm on like my 5th or 6th car now, but
How old are you?
19.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh,
Easy.
she's 19. I gotta get out of here.
I'm legal.
Okay. Barely, I guess is what they say on the interwebs.
So Tanya, what about you? You like long walks on the
long
beach?
walks on the beach? No. I'm going to say that right up front. I'm not a
That's
huge...
not fun. That doesn't sound fun at all.
Well, let me tell you what I prefer, okay? I'm going to take you out into the wilderness, okay? Into the forest. We'll pitch up, I was going to say pitch a tent. That sounds weird. But I mean, we're going to camp. We won't stay the night because I just met you, you know? But we'll. I made some tinfoil dinners with steak and some rice and some. What are those little balls? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Dumplings?
Sprouts, right? Brussels sprouts. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Shut up. What's your
Tanya
name,
sounds
Raquel?
like a serial killer.
I am not a serial killer. That's
No,
a
she's not.
I
misconception.
would not go out into the woods with you.
Okay, because of my
Are you
appearance.
telling me Tinder has serial killers?
No, they don't.
People never lie on those.
No,
things.
people don't. Why do you think I look like a? Do you think I look like a
You
serial
sound
killer?
like a serial, and you want to take him out into the woods, like
Okay.
where no one can find you. I wouldn't eat the meat either.
Yeah, honey, you look like you haven't eaten meat in a long time. I'm just going to say that right now, okay?
I've
You're
been
right.
vegan for 2 years,
That's
so
what I
that was
thought.
actually a correct judgment on your part.
Okay, thank you. Very perceptive. Yeah, what other questions you got?
Can you guys do a Jamaican accent?
I mean, maybe, but I'm worried about being offensive. I'm just going to say that right now.
No, it'll just be recorded forever. Just say Irie.
What?
Irie? Have you never heard that?
No.
Okay, well, this used to be a thing in dancehall music. Irie, you know.
No, I don't know what that is. But
right.
it sounds it's attractive when you say words I don't know. So that's nice. What about you? Can you do one?
You have to bat your eyes like this and perk your lips
Okay.
like this.
Wow.
You know who that's from?
No, I don't know.
Little
what you're talking
Mermaid.
about. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. You're doing a reference.
Okay, you go.
I do like your movie taste, though. That's pretty
Good job for you. No, I've known to do impressions, but Jamaican, I don't really feel impressions. I more like to do celebrity impressions. Like, give me a celebrity, I'll do an impression.
Well, you're already doing like
Stephen King? That's usually what I do.
Scarface.
Oh, Scarface. Yeah, Scarface is a good one, but yeah, that's a little too easy. Give me some harder. I'll do an impression. Go ahead.
All right. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Okay, here we go. Wow. Right? Am I right? That was pretty good. Huh?
I dig it.
One more. What do you got? You can ask too, Raquel. Raquel, go ahead.
Can you do Roseanne?
Roseanne, easy. John Goodman, get up from the bed and come eat your dinner. There you go. That's
Oh my god.
Thank you. That's pretty spot on, eh?
Yeah, you guys are
I
pretty
gotta
good.
give
Thank
that
you.
one to you. It's
Thank
fine.
you, Raquel.
There's some talent in this room.
Thank you. That's what we do.
So, Raquel, what do you do? Do you have any special skills?
Yeah.
Well, I was in gymnastics for most of my life, so very flexible still. I do a lot of yoga.
Okay. Tone it down, honey.
I could show you downward dog.
Okay. Oh wow, you're just laying it
And
thick.
sometimes I watercolor paint.
While doing downward dog.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Okay, wow. Okay, how about one final question? Because I got to get going, and you got to decide which one of us So one final question for us both.
Okay, final question. What's your idea of the perfect date?
Ooh. Who do you want to start?
Let's start with Tanya.
Start with Tanya,
Yeah.
that's me. Okay. First, I think what would happen is you'd pick me up. Okay. I'd be in a camo duct tape dress that I made. You would take me to my favorite low-key, high-priced restaurant, Applebee's, where we would eat until at least 9 o'clock. When they ask for dessert, we say yes. Normally I say no, but this is a special occasion. And then at about 9 o'clock, we go out. I got a few shotguns, and we go out to do some clay pigeon shooting at 9 o'clock at night. I just realized that pretty hard, but you know what? For you, honey, we do that. And then you know what? I think I want to show you my romantic side, so I would prepare a poem for you. That would be it. Thank you.
Well, I know this really cool vegan meal that they do on a boat that I would love to show you. So we would go out on the boat, we'd have our vegan meal, and they make this really good, it tastes like fish fillet, but it's tofu. You couldn't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm, that's what they all say.
Do you like fish?
Yeah, sure. That's great.
I mean, it sucks that I'm vegan, so this tofu, this tofish is really good. It does it for me. And then I think since we're already by the water, we'd probably just have a late night on the beach. We both like the beach, unlike Tanya over here.
Nope, I don't. Sand gets everywhere.
That does seem like at least one thing that we have in common. And I have a projector as well. Maybe we could project a movie while we're on the beach. How does that sound?
Wow.
Sounds terrible. I'm picking Tanya.
You pick me. Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Applause. Well, all right. It sounds like we'll see you on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's fine. I wasn't interested anyways.
That's fine. You could date one of my sons. Oh, I probably should have brought up. I have plenty of kids.
You're probably not even a billionaire like your Tinder said.
No, okay. Well, I'm going to get going because I think the other dudes are... Yeah, can we come back in?
Yeah, get out of there. We got to finish the show.
Okay. Well, it was nice to meet you, George.
Nice meeting you.
I don't know why we were shaking real life, but we did. We shook in real life.
Bye, George.
Bye. Oh, man. Oh. How did that go?
It went pretty well.
It feels at least 5 degrees warmer in here. So, I mean, things must have gotten pretty... Who did you end up picking?
I picked Tanya.
Nice.
She has a sensitive side.
Nice.
Her voice is soothing to me.
Yeah.
Which is everything a man could want.
Did you get her number?
No.
Well, all right. I mean, we'll give you the access to the Tinder that we set up for you. Well, perfect. Well, thanks for doing that for us. That was a lot of fun.
No, thank you. Just looking out.
Yeah. Now for the next one is this is a little segment. We're gonna get a little serious. Okay. Every once in a while, I like to write letters to very famous people.
Okay.
And let's just do it.
And now you're invited to join Watson on empowering letters for important people.
Dear Donald Jabruberus Trump, listen, dog. I saw you over there not too long ago. You planning some parade for yourself? Well, I got something that you should plan for. That hair, man. Are you kidding me? I saw that meme come up, and it was a meme before. I mean, the people who reported it was a meme. Looks like the back of, when Voldemort had when it was on the back of that dude's head, man. The Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And you know, Donald, Donnie, as your friends call you, I would like to say that I hope it's what's best for you, but I can't even say that because it's rough. It's really hard, Donnie, so I only have a few requests in writing these letters for you tonight, and that is, 1, stop being a dumbass. And stop, just go and stop. Who cares if people want to come over and be a part of this country? That just means you get more followers on Twitter. Who cares if, some late show talk show host makes fun of you, like that just means you get more attention. Donnie, that's all you want is attention, and you're gonna get it. Or maybe that's the problem. Donnie, you do get attention. I love you, Donnie. Not really. Sincerely, Watson.
Yeah, give it up for Watson's empowering letters.
He's great.
Wrote that.
POTUS.
Yes, to POTUS. Oh, yeah.
Is it weird that we've made an acronym of that now?
I know, but see, we made that acronym. Wow. Acronym with like it was associated with Barack Obama, and so now anytime we say that, that's what I first think of. It's like Barack Obama. I can't.
And then you remember that it's.
And then I'm like,
the other guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. I thought the best part of your letter was you talked about him wanting attention.
Yeah.
And I would say like, yeah, he does want attention, but it wasn't from us. His dad never gave it to him.
No, right.
That was a big problem, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like as soon as he gets out of office, we're gonna get some kind of like making a murder documentary, just him coming to power. I don't know. Sorry if you are a supporter of Trump, all power to you. Keep up. I hope you don't get offended. We're all joking to get by.
But for us over here, he can.
Yes. But awesome. Speaking of that, it's time for I believe our favorite segment.
Here's another excitement sound clip.
Yes. But now it's time for
Don't you dare laugh. I mean it.
awesome.
All right. Don't you dare laugh. So if you've listened to the show, that Watson and I have prepared some funny clips.
Yes.
And
real quick, I just thought I saw something. I did not. Back to this. Okay, go ahead.
We're going to go back and forth. We each have 3 clips, and we're going to try and make the other person laugh.
Yeah. Feel free to play at home. If you have a funny clip that you want us to see, tweet us at TDLA Podcast. I said that super fast.
At gmail.com.
Yeah, you can tweet at us or tdlapodcast at gmail.com.
Oh.
Send us stuff. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. But anyways, let's get down to it. Who's going to start? I think I started last time, right?
Okay.
We got to get better
All right.
at this.
Got it.
At remembering.
I don't think
And
it
George,
matters too
please, you get a laugh all you want.
Cool.
But,
Nice.
Because, it's infectious, so if we hear you laughing and we're trying not to,
Then
it makes it harder for us. So.
Yes.
But don't feel like you have to laugh either. If we pick out clips, then... All right, so this one is another anesthesia.
Cool.
Oh, you gotta love those.
And it's just a girl. She's in the back of the car, and she asks the family, what are we going to go eat?
Okay.
Your car.
Why do you get me to eat? Did we get chicken?
No, we have a milkshake.
Oh,
Side-
poor thing.
I bet you don't know my favorite food.
Oh.
chicken.
No.
What is your favorite food?
You don't love me.
Spaghetti, pasta, sushi.
I'm adopted, aren't I?
Okay. I forgot that we're trying not to... I pulled a U. I forgot that we're trying not to laugh at that beginning. But then I was like... Oh, her facial expressions are what sell it, man.
Yeah.
You don't. Or you...
I bet you don't know my favorite
She
food.
was so into that.
I think
That's so
she's
funny.
right, though. They don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know, you're
Probably
Elkin's
adopted.
favorite food. Lesson learned, kids. That's fun. Do you have a thing for that? A clip?
No, I don't have a sound clip for it.
I was hoping it was you're adopted or I'm adopted or whatever. That'd be fun. Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm trying to think this one. I need to remember. I need to always remember what order they're in. I don't think this needs any kind of. I mean, let's just go. Let's just see what happens.
Three-man rush.
Oh yes.
Yo, like this game is so gosh darn bad, bro. Oh my gosh! Stop!
Getting out of his head right now.
Like this game is so bad. Oh my gosh!
It's gonna end up in an internet meme if he's not careful.
Or on a podcast.
Yeah.
I deserve it a little bit.
I feel like he probably yelled at the refs when he played basketball.
Okay. So to give you guys, now that I know what this clip was, to get you listeners knowing what this is so a guy is playing professional Madden video game, And we've all been there, right? Like, we've all had a moment of, like, freaking out. Well, he freaks out on a stream, I'm assuming, or
who knows how many people.
Yeah, professional gaming, and just freaks out in front of everybody. And, yeah, so it's really
he
funny.
handled that very well.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Did we by chance set mine up? Dang it. That's okay. Yeah, super fun. But okay, what's the next
the
one?
reaction of the other guy playing, who was just like, "What the hell?"
I know. If you like look at him, he just literally is just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep kicking his ass. Yell all you want. I'm gonna be quiet.
All right. So since it's our Valentine's episode, I was trying to find something in that kind of vein, and I found an old couple. Somebody asks them, "Do you still have that spark?"
Oh, here we go.
Was there any spark left after 65 years?
Any what?
Any spark left after 60.
Still like her? I don't think so. I haven't tried for a few years.
That kind of spark.
That's so perfect.
That was hard.
That kind of spark.
Wow. I haven't tried in a few years. That's
honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all of us as well.
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next clip has become one of my. It's a news story one. So we've all like been online or have heard stories about like terrible, like people just posting terrible comments to like each other, or like posting really terrible memes. Well, I don't really know too much about the backstory, but someone basically went into a house for a disturbance and found someone who actually posts these kind of memes. And that's what this video is. We're going to see one in person.
Almost like those Datelines where they like try and
catch a predator.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. It was a local news thing, but you'll see it. Let's hear it.
Do you use it a lot, or?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something, right?
I'm like, been posting a lot of memes lately.
You've been posting a lot of memes?
Yeah, like really crappy ones.
Crappy ones? Yeah. Memes aren't crappy.
I'm very bitter and vindictive, so it's like,
oh
what can I cook? Your mom's panties. Ooh, yeah, not classy.
Tom,
but,
that was a little raunchy, Tom.
Yeah, you know, but
my
it's just my current mood of just not caring anymore.
Well, you should just clean this stuff out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You got all the stuff to make the repairs, so that's good.
Yeah.
What's in those other rooms? Are those just empty
that's
rooms?
where I keep the dead hookers.
Holy crap. I did cut it right there. He does like say, haha, just kidding. But
wow.
So...
It almost looks like he's trying to hide how high he is.
Yeah.
He's like avoiding eye contact.
Yeah. I also love like how like the police officer like either knows him really well or is just being really sweet. That's the sweetest police officer I have ever seen on camera.
He's like, no, Tom.
Crazy Tom.
I just love how I was like, I'm just so bitter and vindictive. I'm like, okay.
Dude. So that's because South Park talks about trolls. Yeah. So that's a real life troll. That's what they look like.
Exactly. Yeah. This is what happens when your parents give you too much internet time.
Exactly. Okay, your final one, huh?
So this is a little girl. I always have funny kid ones because there's just so many of them.
He knows they get me.
This is a little girl saying the blessing over the meal. You guys, was your family ever religious?
Yeah.
You guys say the blessing?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's just really grateful for everything.
Yay!
And all the angels. And thank you for our pizza and our plate and our cup and
her huge glasses.
And our silverware and our sugar. And thanks for
Dang it.
Baby Jesus. And thanks for Christmas Eve. And thanks for all our presents. And thanks for my friends and my brother's friends and my dad's friends and my mom's friends and my
Her face at the end, how she's so excited to pray, but then she's so excited to finish.
Yeah.
I love how she said too, like my brothers and my brother's friends, and my mom and my mom's friends. That's so adorable. You guys got to look up that video, or we'll post that video because with her thick glasses.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we post all the clips to the videos on the.
Oh yeah, we have
video
links.
and
Yeah,
iTunes and all that fun stuff.
So you can find them all there.
All right, I got you on that one.
You did. That was really good. But I might get you on this one. I'm so excited, unless you've already seen it. Okay, so the reason why is this is kind of has to do with Joe Rogan a little bit.
Oh yeah,
that's one of your favorite homies.
Yes.
So there's UFC games.
Nice,
right? I love them. I play them all the time. Well, this last one got kind of smashed because it had super bad glitches. And we're gonna watch a video that has to do with that. Here we go.
Now, Joe, what technique is Junior Dos Santos utilizing here? Mike, he's pretending to be a turtle that can't flip over. He's very confused, Frank.
Oh, I got you.
Frank looks very confused. Gustafson is so elusive, Joe. We knew going into the rematch that Gustafson flying through the air was going to give John Jones problems. They didn't admit it. They gave him fits in the first fight. Carmouche with a nice 70-foot sliding takedown. She's out and Liz Carmouche doesn't realize it. Carmouche is going to town on the air. Those are nasty shots. Big kick by Jones. Alex goes for a leg, gets a hold of a ghost that's been haunting the arena, and huge takedown.
I got you on that first part, though. I got you on that first part. They have like 4 compilations of those. So if you're ever just feeling like really terrible, jump on there. And I actually cut down that so it wouldn't be forever. I just cut some of my favorite moments, but
oh, that's great.
Oh, that was good. But well, cool. Well, yeah, so there's that for Don't You Dare Laugh. Now it's time for our final segment.
Those have been great clips.
Yeah, well, thank you. We work hard, you know. Now it's time for our final segment.
Initializing listener email.
Listener email initialized.
So did Patrick make all these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Patrick's awesome.
Patrick! Pat Cheesy. Once again, shout out to Pat Cheesy, Patrick Coffin. He did all that stuff for us. Please support him. Love him.
He does the voiceover for all our intros.
Yeah. Made all the segments with the music. He's so good. We love him. All right, so now it's time for some listener email.
Yeah. We got a few questions from Bobby.
Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby, for writing in. And if anybody wants to write in some questions, some would you rathers, whatever, tdlapodcast@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Nice.
So Bobby asks, if you could visit any point in time, when and where would you go?
When and where? It wouldn't be anything before 1980.
No?
No, I mean, like, not in
Even
America.
if you're in, like, a hamster wheel that no one could attack you or hurt you.
Oh, okay. All right. If I'm in a hamster wheel, I'd probably go back to the grassy knoll, watch the JFK thing.
We were talking about that when we were going to karaoke.
Yeah.
Just to find out what happened, right?
Just what happened, yeah. I'm like really interested in seeing how it goes.
What if it happened and you missed it and you're like, wait, can I go back again?
And then it's just George and giant hamster wheels all over. And then
There's
you
multiple
find out
versions.
George was the reason.
Somebody was going to shoot another way and they're like, what's that dude doing in the hamster wheel? And it like
bounces off.
We just want to say that, you know, assassinations are not funny. Okay, moving on.
For you, Watson, do you have an answer for this?
I've always been fond of, like, the cowboy era, the Wild West. I'd love to go back there just because, you know, like making your own. I mean, that's kind of like what I like about LA. It kind of feels like the Wild West where, like, you make your own opportunities and, you know, a lot of the times it's just like every man for himself. That's maybe not the best part, but yeah, I would say that, or like the future. And I'm literally now looking at Back to the Future and realizing that's literally what the movies are. Maybe that's why I love it so much. But that'd be for me. What about you?
I've always been interested in the backstory to like ancient Egypt.
Oh, nice.
You
That's
know,
pretty
like,
cool.
do the Egyptians that we know created the pyramids, or was it a civilization before them? And they're just taking
yeah.
credit. Joe Rogan had a bit about that. He's like, you know, smart people existed before the Egyptians, and then they died off, and the Egyptians were just like, hello,
Yeah.
anybody in there?
Yeah.
And then they just started taking credit for it.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard aliens.
Yeah.
So, aliens.
It was really sad for me when the History Channel supported that guy. When they had him in a segment and he's like, aliens, I'm like, well, there goes this channel.
That's it. I mean, there was a while where I felt like the History Channel was just those kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, no, there's like 5 minutes where they're like doubling down on conspiracy bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, guys, we've got to... We
Like
have a pseudo
history,
reputation.
please.
Yeah.
Did you see their thing about mermaids? They had a special a few years back.
right.
They had all this
Yeah.
like video evidence and things, and scientists coming on about talking about mermaids. I was convinced for a while.
Didn't they release it around April Fools or something?
Was it? I don't know.
That's what I thought originally.
But they had like these guys were in a little tiny submarine, and they had 2 different camera angles of this human-like thing swimming up to their window, putting a hand on it, and then swimming off. And it was interesting, but it's not like it couldn't be
I'm
fake.
pretty sure that there's things living in the ocean we don't know about. There's like
Dude,
hundreds
absolutely.
of things living in the ocean.
Yeah, I actually watched a documentary where someone was like, space is going to take us like, a long time before we can like really discover what's out there.
Yeah.
But he's like, we have no idea what's living in our oceans. And I'm like,
I think
that
we
would
should
be
leave
cool.
it that way. We just leave it alone.
Yeah, or else we'll find a Godzilla or
But
something.
also just like points to human narcissism for being like, there's a fish in the water and it looks like me.
True.
Right. That's true. Yeah. What else? What other ones we have?
We got a couple would you rathers.
All right.
Cool.
So, would you rather eat only roadkill for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
or everyone around you sounds like Gilbert Gottfried?
Like, is the roadkill cooked or is it just like...
I'm sure, because when I read this, I was like, well, maybe I can just get really good at cooking roadkill.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you can make meals out of it.
People do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you guys, I mean, why are you hating on Gilbert Godfrey? Like, I wouldn't mind that.
But for everybody.
Let me tell you the story. That's my Gilbert Godfrey, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
Grandma,
do you wanna...
I haven't seen you in so long. Come sit on my lap, you little boy.
Come on. Okay, I guess once you like start like imagine like getting intimate with someone and they're just like, yeah, that's right, harder.
You have your first kid and their first words, Dad.
That ruins so many moments.
Okay, now that I'm thinking about that might be, or just hilarious. I don't know. Or
It'd be really funny for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
It'd be like.
Yeah, and then like you're gonna call IRS for your taxes, and then you're just like, oh, I know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
But I mean, people do. I hear in the South like roadkill's a thing.
Yeah,
and you can maybe make like sausage and things like that, and get really good at it. I don't know.
Just be careful, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one we have: would you rather know when you're going to die or how you're going to die? My thing with that is, if you knew how you're going to die, wouldn't you know, kind of?
Like when? No, not necessarily.
No, if they just like were like, well, you're gonna die in your sleep someday.
Yeah. Or car accident. Also, no one dies in their sleep. Like,
Dude, can you imagine if they said you're gonna die in a car accident and then every day that you drive after that?
What's that joke? Who does that joke where it's like you don't die and or you don't fall asleep and wake up dead?
Yeah, no.
What's that from?
I think is it Norm Macdonald? I think might have made a joke.
Was it Norm Macdonald? Oh, you know what? It's from Scary Movie 3. When Kevin Hart, which is crazy he's in that, Kevin Hart and the guy from Blackish, I forget his name.
Anthony Anderson?
Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
Where they're like talking about like, yeah, and then he woke up dead. You can't wake up dead. You can't fall asleep alive and then wake up dead. It's a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like, I think whenever people talk about falling is like dying in your sleep, I'm like, you just have a heart attack while you're sleeping. You're not.
Yeah. like sleep didn't kill you. Yeah.
He died of sleep.
Yeah. Too much of it. You'll
sleep overdose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. Knowing when, I think, would suck because I would just feel anxiety, especially if it was like soon. But like, how you're going to die, I don't know. So like, see, I just ask questions.
Well, I think knowing when, even though it sucks at the same time, you could also plan your life around that. If you know you're going to die next year, it's like, well, then I should probably just do everything that I want to do.
Yeah.
And instead of dying with regrets, like, I wish I would have had more time.
But I always wonder about that too, because especially like with certain careers, like creative careers, a lot of time you spend like grinding, right? And like you're trying to build up and get better and like develop yourself into who you want to be. So like if you knew you were gonna die next year, would you just abandon that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would.
And just start like
unfortunately
running around.
Or maybe I would play the "Hey, I'm dying" card, and I would start like a GoFundMe, and then and then I would just make animation for my last year and kind of immortalize myself.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I keep getting tangled up in this because like if you knew how you were going to die, so let's say, oh, you're going to get in a car accident on this road, blah blah blah. Then like, okay, I'm just not going to go by that road for the rest of my life.
You're going to die of a car accident.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If they're vague, if it's a vague thing, then you're like,
then every time you get in your car, you're like, this is the time I'm going to die.
See, that's the thing. I think I would rather have it that way because then, I think I would rather. Don't get me wrong. There is kind of like an attractiveness to like, oh, I know when I'm going to die, so when it comes to a certain point, I'm just going to live my life to the fullest. But I kind of just want to die. When I do die, I kind of want to die living life. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
normal
so you're having
life.
a good time versus like...
Yeah, and I know that if I know when it's going to happen, I'm just going to have so much anxiety about it. But I don't know if I'll enjoy it.
But I also wonder, like, if you know how you're going to die, is it going to like... Or you know when you're going to die, wouldn't you know what's leading up there? Like if you were gonna die from like sickness, you'd like start to see the symptoms early on or something.
Well, every time you get a cough, you're like,
I guess it depends. So that's a good one. I guess that's why it's would you rather. Right?
But it seems like the ultimate factor for you is that knowing when you're gonna die would give you more anxiety.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially because it could have been like, 4 days.
Oh man.
And then I'm like, great. Well, I'm a virgin, so I'm gonna go take care of that real fast.
Just hit up every club.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd probably pick when. Yeah. I'd pick when.
Okay.
I think they're both arbitrary.
Yeah. But they're fun. They're fun to talk about.
Cool. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's one to think about. So, Bobby also would like to know if we have any recommendations for like obscure or unknown films.
I have a couple. That, like, do you guys want to start, or you want to?
You go. If you got some ideas.
One of my favorites that no one really watches is The Seventh Seal. I think you probably watch it in like film school. Or
Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. Like I was when I was in early college, I was obsessed with the idea of dying. So like I was thinking about it a lot, which is when you normally do it. And then and I was like, oh man, I wish there was a movie that spoke about this. And I was like thinking about writing one, and then I saw that movie, and I was like, oh, I don't have to. Yeah. Like it's kind of perfect. It's about a crusader coming back from the war, and he kind of crashes on the shore of his hometown, and death shows up and says, hey, you're dead, we're gonna take you away. And he pretty much makes a bargain. It's like, oh, if you give me some time, or let's play a chess game for my soul. So while he's playing a chess game, he buys time. Yeah, and it's him traveling around the country on the way back to his home, but like he's experiencing all this stuff and like learning about life and rethinking it. Or just his approach to it. Yeah, it's very philosophical.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty great watch. Yeah. That one's really great. Do you guys have one?
Well, I don't know how popular this one is in America. I know it got really big in like China, but end of 2016, Stephen Chow, who did Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle, he did this one about mermaids.
Yeah.
And I just...
did you watch it?
I have it, yeah. If you ever want to watch it.
You own it?
Yeah.
I want to watch it.
It's hysterical. Like, their take on, like, the mermaid folklore is great, and just Stephen Chow, his sense of humor is great. So I would recommend that to mostly Americans, because probably people haven't heard of it.
Yeah, but I love his other movies. They're all fun.
Yeah. Kung Fu Hustle, however old I was when that came out, made a real impression on me.
Yeah. Love it.
It blew my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I think I know which one you're talking about. There's like a moment where a mermaid gets captured, and somehow like she gets away. Like
they get in like a weird flips through there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've seen a clip of that. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Basically, it's the mermaids have like almost like a spy who is able to walk upright on her flipper. So she like sticks her flippers into shoes and goes up to the surface world and like brings back information.
It sounds so
That's hilarious.
It's interesting.
Okay, well that didn't make me think.
It's just called The Mermaid.
The Mermaid. Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
This one has gained a lot more popularity, but I'm the hipster who I liked it before it was cool. The Raid and The Raid 2.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh, they're great. You both can borrow them if you want to.
You have those. I
Yeah.
know,
So the first one I was shown to by a friend, and basically it's like the cinematic masterpiece, but also it's the greatest like martial arts movie I've seen like in this day and age. Like I used to watch, like Bruce Lee. I used to watch, Jackie Chan in the olden days, and obviously Rush Hour. Like, I grew up on Rush Hour, but like this is like, oh, it's so hard to explain. And what's really cool about it is so the raid is about a police officer, like they're police officers, and they're going in a raid, and what they're doing is like there's an entire hotel, every single level. It's basically covered with these gangs, and they have to basically go every single level. There is like a little bit of backstory, but it's not heavy on the backstory. But the first one, you don't watch it for that; you watch it for the action. But the story's still good enough to get you by. But then the second one is like amazing, and the reason why the second one is better than the first one is the director. I got to watch this at Sundance, and he was there, so he talked about it, and he mentioned that the reason why the second one is a little bit better, he said, not me, but I agree with him, is because he wrote the second one first, didn't have the money to do it, so he made a prequel called The Raid, and then made that movie lower budget, and then made Raid 2. Oh, it's so good. Nuts. And now, another fun fact to hopefully get you guys out there to watch it. So it's the greatest like kung fu, martial arts, I should say. Like, but what's also cool is like Disney saw this movie. They had to have, and what they did is they hired the stunt crew to be on the Star Wars the new Star Wars films, and you can actually see them when they go in the Force Awakens when Han Solo gets like cornered by the two people, and it's like tell that to try whatever, and then I forget their names, but then he turns and looks, and then another door opens, and then someone who speaks a different language, that's them. Like that's the Raid crew, and like you can literally watch the movie and be like, oh, that was them in Star Wars. So you guys should definitely check it out because it's amazing. But
I would definitely do it. Oh, also like a last minute recommendation.
Yes, please.
Cary Grant's movies are great.
Ooh, yes.
I'm a huge Cary Grant fan. His Girl Friday is amazing. I'd recommend that one and Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh, I love Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yeah, those are like two of my favorite movies. I love a lot of his stuff. Good movies. Yeah, they're pretty fun.
I was, not to brag, but I was Teddy in high school for Arsenic and Old Lace the play. So, no, not bragging, but
great. Pretty good. I did come up with another one. Have you guys seen The Fall?
No, what's all about?
No.
The Fall is basically it's in like a hospital, and it's either World War I, World War II, but there's this like wounded soldier, and he just kind of meets this little girl who's there for some reason, and she kind of takes a liking to him, and he starts telling her this story. I don't know if he's making it up off the top of his head or whatever, but the movie basically is the story. So he starts telling her the story, and it goes into it. But it's very visually stunning, like just beautiful, like every shot. And I want to say Spike Jonze either directed it or he wrote it or he produced it. He was involved with it. So.
Okay.
But yes, The Fall as well is really good.
Yeah. Another last minute thing because I thought of this one you guys have probably seen, The Fountain.
The Fountain, yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Okay, both of you seen that. If you guys haven't seen it, just know
P.T.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's beautiful, man. It's so beautiful.
And Hugh Jackman. Who's the female?
Rachel Weisz.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So good.
Well, just Paul Thomas Anderson is great. Boogie Nights, Magnolia.
Yes.
He just did Phantom Thread, which I still need to see.
Do you ever see Punch Drunk Love?
Yes,
that was really good too.
That was a good like dark comedy, I guess you could call it. Not dark, but just it was kind of serious at the same time.
No, I have to give him a lot of credit too. I talk about like sincerity a lot. Like I love when a movie feels sincere, and I'd say all of his movies have that. Like when I watched Boogie Nights for the first time, it kind of blew my mind. Like I was kind of like,
the cinematography is insane.
No, it's so good.
We're talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Magnolia?
I have not.
I keep telling George
I know,
but that's good because you still get to experience it for the first time.
That movie, like Boogie Nights, holy crap! But like Magnolia is my favorite drama of all time.
Oh,
like,
really?
Of all time, yeah. Like I still can't. Like every time I watch it, it affects me in a different way. I know I sound super artsy-fartsy, but I'm being dead serious.
No, I think that's like the point of like these movies is like
sometimes
they actually are worth the hype.
yeah, absolutely.
There's a movie I'm thinking of right now. It's what's the name of it again? It's the guy who did Boyhood.
Oh,
But it's his
Is it
earlier
one of
movie.
the Ethan Hawke films?
It's not one of the Ethan Hawke.
No, he
films.
didn't do like Before Sunset or Before Sunrise. He didn't do those.
It was the it was this movie where
the director's called Richard Linklater.
Yeah, but it was this movie that he did before that. It was the one about high school.
Okay.
It's not.
I'm looking it up, so we'll find out here in a
It's
second.
like Rushmore. No, it's
I wish it was Rushmore.
Times at Ridgemont High. No,
Rushmore was Wes Anderson.
Yeah, it was.
Who had been having a Wes Anderson craze, that's for sure.
Yeah, Wes Anderson's great.
School of Rock?
No, it was I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. Dazed and Confused. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Yeah. I love that movie. It's so good.
Great. Absolutely.
Oh, and Bernie. Okay,
Yeah.
this guy.
It's weird because like growing up in Jamaica, so you'd probably think that like cultural difference would be like pretty wide, but when I watched that movie, I'm like, that's what my high school is like. It felt like really sincere.
It was relatable.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I went through. And
That's cool. It's that
it's a good job.
McConaughey line that's fun. That's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older and they stay the same age. Yes, they do.
All right.
Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. I just picked up my microphone and laid it on.
No worries. We just got one more question.
Okay.
Cool.
Anything crazy that you've seen living in LA?
Living, that's such a weird thing.
Not like you saw something that was living in LA.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, I saw this crazy dog walking on two legs.
I know, that's what it sounds like.
No,
Three
since
kids in a
we've
trench,
moved to
yeah.
LA, because let's face it, compared to Salt Lake, Salt Lake is very tame.
Yeah,
Compared to
man.
LA, and really the first thing that comes to my mind is just some experiences that I've had with homeless people out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you definitely see some interesting homeless.
Yeah, I with that. So literally my second day in LA, I was walking out on Ventura. There's a Vons over here, and I'm walking out, and a homeless man comes around the corner. He has Fruity Pebbles in one hand and almond milk on the other hand, and literally just maybe 5-10 feet in front of me, this is my second day in LA. He pours the Fruity Pebbles out on the cement.
Yeah.
He gets the milk, pours that on the cement, and then just begins to lick it off the cement. And I was like, whoa, someone hit bedrock bottom.
Oh.
Hey-o.
It's breakfast.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Laughter.
Yeah, come on, audience. Get with the program. What about you guys?
I don't think I've seen an interesting person necessarily. I remember once I was driving on this back street. It was a really rough day. And I was like, man, LA is a tough city. I don't know if I really like it here.
Yeah.
And I looked over and someone put a couch out. And on the couch they wrote, fuck LA. And I was like,
that's perfect.
Yeah. I was everyone feels the same.
Yes.
I like the city, but
wow.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. I say this all the time. I've never known a place that I love it so much one moment and then instantly hate it the next.
Yeah. Definitely.
So.
The first time that I ever saw heroin was on the streets of LA.
There we go. What does it even look like?
I had just had lunch with my sister and brother-in-law at Grand Central Market.
Love it. Nice. Shout out to Grand Central Market.
I was downtown.
We should do a podcast at Grand Central Market.
You wouldn't hear shit.
You would not. You'd just be like,
But I was walking back to my car, and I was going up these cement stairs, and there wasn't really anybody, but there were these 4 people sitting in a circle on the stairs. And I just kind of looked down, and one dude was tying his arm off. One dude was lighting a spoon, and I was like, "Holy crap!" That's when I realized I've never seen heroin before. This is insane.
Step right up, man! Step right up.
Yeah.
See heroin for the first time.
That was a trip. And
Wow.
then
First shot's free.
But yeah, just no shame, man. Another one that comes to my mind is there's a really good taco truck by my house on the street. And I went up and I ordered my tacos, and I went and sat and waited, and this homeless lady came up, asked me for some money. I didn't have any money for her, but then she kind of walked around this building into this park, a 7-Eleven parking lot where I had parked my car, and I got my tacos, and I go to walk back to my car, and she's using my car to brace herself while she's peeing next to it. Her pants are down to the ground, and she's just peeing next to my car and using my car to brace herself.
Oh my gosh.
And she saw that I saw her, and she just finished and pulled up her dirty pants and walked off.
Wow.
That's just life.
Yeah, man, that's just life.
That's life.
Man, that's
I love the
crazy.
nonchalantness of like some of the homeless people here. They're just like, this is who I am.
Get over it.
Yeah. Like I you know, I feel, you know, I always try and give when I can, but you know, there's also like a part of me that's like,
I didn't
dude,
feel bad
next
about
month I could be in your situation. Like,
Yeah,
LA
no, that's
is so
it's weird.
unpredictable.
Because it's actually the highest homeless population in the world,
Yeah.
or like in the country. And like it was something I think about all the time when I see homeless people. I'm like, that really could be you if you're like not careful.
Right. Oh yeah, man.
But I will say they have lovely communities. Like I've seen like really shanty towns set up.
Yeah. And
My
they take care of
favorite
animals
is the Venice Beach Boardwalk, because those homeless people are like, they're making art, they're playing music,
Yeah,
they're
that's
like trying. They're not just sitting there with signs. They're like, and they seem very communal there. Like,
yeah.
So I
I've
really
definitely seen
like
some
going
communal
there.
ones. We should be. I forget where I was. I think it was some part of downtown LA, but I took the wrong turn. And it was like a movie. Like, where you take the wrong turn, you end up in like a shanty town. And it's like trash cans are on fire. Some dudes are selling something out of their trunk that I'm sure wasn't legal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay. Don't stop.
Dude, that's fun. Well, we're kind of heading towards the end here, but you know, I want to thank you for coming on here.
Guys.
Where can our listeners find you? Like, if you have like your Instagram or something, or
Yeah, I'd say the Instagram is more active right now. So I'd say
Perfect.
go to george.draws at Instagram.
Cool.
And we'll put the links up as well. But
Dope. Yeah. Also, just thank you guys so much. Like, this was really fun.
No
Like,
problem.
wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah.
You guys told me you're gonna lock me in a dark room and turn on the lights.
Well, it's getting there.
Well, we're not quite finished. But yes, audience, let's give him one more round of applause.
Yay!
Thank you, George.
You're just so sweet.
That was fun. And hopefully you enjoy your date on Valentine's Day with Tanya.
Tanya. Shout out to Tanya.
Yeah,
thank you all personally, audience, for listening to us, and thank you for our support. I think about this time, you know, our first episode is aired, and you know, thank you everyone for just supporting us and sharing and commenting and sending us your videos, or sending us your questions. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Just TDLA Podcast. And you can also email us at tdlapodcast@gmail.com. Also, shout out again to Patrick. Look up Patrick Coffin, and so I think that's pretty much it, unless we have a little surprise. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.